So there you have it. That's that unicursal energy right there, combined with the ace of discs. Either a gap down or a notable decline in the open. You can see we had that right there, into midday really. We didn't see much of a big move to the upside though. In that first half hour, this is kind of what we're looking at for the Aeon card, which, I mean, when you have a really strong overarching energy, like the energies going in the opposite directions are going to be kind of like stifled a bit. Although here at the end of the day, we're going to see a pretty big move here to the upside, guys. Um, yeah, this was probably the devil card right here. Fake out like we're not going to break through, and then we have this big move. We establish support. We have a big move higher, standing out on a 1 month, or excuse me, on a 1 day chart. And this move should continue into the close. Well, okay, at some point we hit resistance that we fail to break through. We turn around and we decline through support in the post market, but that might actually be more like something that takes place overnight based on it being in the post market. There's a lot of bullish energy here at end of day. Hey, Round Earth. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, especially since it's only like 15 after, and we're already at high, like, well, not highs I should say, but like we're already above this peak here on price level. It'd be nice if E-Trade charts worked like properly during retrograde just once. Wow, it takes forever. Period of volatility ends with a fast sudden move higher. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a drop there on the fourth, fifth, so be careful. So we have this decline with this move out of it, which really, rather than it taking place on the first, is taking place on the second. But decline volatility ending with a fast sudden move higher, so we should see like the establishment of support at a high, at a notable resistance. So probably like we turn this resistance into support, roughly like 29.5, roughly 29.4. But it doesn't hold. We drop on the 4th, 5th. I mean, drop less than it will pamp, like, over what time? I'd use the spike, like, if you open up a short position, or excuse me, a long position here early in the morning, or what is that, that's the first end of the day on the first. I'd say use this spike here on the third when we establish support at a higher level, like turn resistance into support basically. I'd use that as like a short-term exit, and then there's a drop here. Yeah, I mean, there's a drop right here on the cusp, and then there's a higher peak, and then a drop from that higher peak. But I think probably right around this price level is the top for... Unless we break through... I mean, the high um the high for April and May, it should be roughly the same price level. And it looks like the May highs in early May, like the second week of May. When we look at the 1 month, it kind of lines up. I wouldn't be overly bullish at these levels right now for Bitcoin. I mean, it's possible, but I'm not really seeing any type of like breakout energies here. I don't think we see a breakout. I think the top for May is going to be the same price level as the high for April. It is possible that we come back to another high here at the end of the month. That is a possibility. And then we likely have, I'd have to look at the June, but it looks like we likely have a high there early in June. Hey, trading altitudes. So we were just talking about how this is that unicursal energy here, right at the open. Usually marks a spot, like a price level before a sharp drop, or if there's a unicursal and we do continue to go higher, usually it marks off an important price level that will break down through in the next multi-day decline. That fake out was right around 3 o'clock. There's a pretty big move out of the decline, it looks like, on the third, fourth, out of a low. when I look at the 1 month, I'm thinking we probably see like the 406 price level tomorrow. But then when I look at the 1 day, oops. It's hard to say where the open is based on the Princess of Swords. We probably open lower in the pre-market, and there's like a significant move higher, like in the pre-market or around the open, like out of the low. Significant move higher to reach a day's high around the first half hour. But we've got unicursal energy there. We've got unicursal energy in the pre-market. We've got unicursal energy at the end of the day. So these are probably places where we see sharp drops. And then unicursal energy at the low there. Because of the unicursals, I would, and the Princess of Wands, the Ace of Wands kind of things that are showing up here, I would definitely be on the shorter side still. This peak right here offered an opportunity to open up a short position, so my sense is that these price levels that we're at right now are still opportunity to open up short position. Look out for a pretty big move to the upside at the close. Since we're still around the same price levels as this peak here midday, or this is a little bit after midday, but this rally offers opportunity to open up a short position, and so we still have kind of same price level. I say we still have opportunity to open short position, even though it's not advising to do so here this late in the day. And then it's possible that at the open there's opportunity to close that short position. But more likely midday, even more likely end of day. And tomorrow morning would be a good opportunity to open up a short position at the open in the midst of a move to the upside, which you could close for a day trade midday or end of day. The end of day, based on the luxury card being the theme card, the end of day may be higher than midday. A lot of price change here around noontime, or just before noontime. And it is entirely possible that we see this disappointment card take place before the close. We have a half hour left, and we're kind of setting ourselves up to see this disappointment, which is the establishment falsely of support, right? After failing to break through key resistance, there's the establishment of support falsely, and then we come back and it looks like we're going to break through that key resistance, but instead we decline through that falsely established support. That would be the disappointment card in action. Um, 390 levels might be a little much. Let me see. Come on. 7th through the 21st. And then the 21st through the 14th. 7th through the 21st and the 21st through the 14th. Oh my god, that's so annoying. It has to be a specific chart in order for it to not give me bugs. My computer's acting really wonky. I wouldn't be surprised if it crashes, guys, so apologize if we go offline. Seventh through the 21st, 21st to the 14th. I'm going to show you guys Mercury retrograde, based on Mercury retrograde strategy, what I think will happen here. Wow, when you cut it up like that, this period of time is looking pretty bearish. Drop, rally. Yeah, this is looking pretty bearish. Like a sideways fluctuating decline, like a lot of volatility, but bearish overall, because basically what you get, Mercury retrograde starts to slow down. It enters the area of the sky that it's gonna travel through 3 times during Mercury retrograde. It enters it here on the 7th, and it continues moving forward, but slowing down until it hits the 21st. On the 21st, it pauses in the sky, and then it reverses and starts to enter. It enters that area of the sky for the second time, but in reverse. And what you see is a chart pattern in reverse. You have to take into consideration that the weekends do not line up. So the astrological influences are not going to be, what's the word I'm looking for, symmetrical. But the overall trend should be pretty adequate to give you an idea of what's going to transpire. And so then the following piece from the 21st to the 14th. Wait a second. That's right, yeah. 31st, okay. So then from this period, from the 12th, roughly, or the 15th, you should say, really, to the 31st, we should see bullish behavior again. So from whatever the price level is here, which will probably end up somewhere around... There's a peak in there, though. Weekends make it a little tricky. This is going to get pretty wild, and then we should have... Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. So here on the 18th, 21st, possibly a low there, and then a lot of bullish behavior between the 14th and the 31st. You can see there's another high in there, so that works out pretty well. We should see more volatility on this end of the retrograde than on the other end of the retrograde based on the lunar eclipses. But the lunar eclipse on the 5th is pretty close. It's like a week away, a little over a week away from the transition. So it would impact it a little bit, but more volatility towards the beginning of the retrograde period. Yeah, I think 390 is probably, so to answer your question, trading altitudes, I think 390 is probably too low. We're probably looking more at like what did I say? Somewhere around there, probably. Matter of fact, I'm forgetting this is into the new month. So the new month starts here. Vertical, white. Yeah. Something like that, probably. We'll have a low trough somewhere around here. Maybe a little lower. Make it like that. We'll have a trough somewhere in here. And then a crest somewhere around here. But I don't think 390 is happening. It's possible, but it seems a little deep. Yeah, it seems a little deep. I'd say 400 is a safer bet. Hey, Winesso. $2 p.m. tomorrow. So there's a lot of ground covered here between midday. There's like a drop midday. You have the Fed meeting, and out of the drop, there's a move to the upside for like another crest or peak around 2 o'clock. And then my sense is that we drop from that peak or crest at the end of the day. there's a notable reversal. So drop and then a move higher out of the open. A drop off of that, especially midday to like a trough, a day's trough midday, followed by a move out of that. Not as high as the high at the beginning of the day, but a move to the upside, and then probably a reversal at the very end of the day back to the downside to a low maybe. But I'd say right around 2 o'clock we have like a move to the upside. Maybe like 2 to 3-ish, somewhere, maybe 1 to 2-ish, 2 to 3-ish, somewhere around there. There's a move to the upside, a lot of price change, and an important resistance level highlighted, but at the end of the day there's that reversal. Looks like there's a peak somewhere between 2 and 3 and a reversal to a trough somewhere between 3 and 4. Jerome the Garden Gnome. My computer's so slow right now, my god. Depending on how much of a drop there is, I might adjust this to the downside more. And then that 390 might become more realistic, but my sense is probably not that deep of a drop. It'll stand out, but not like all the way to 390. Okay, so this is the pleasure card in action here, right on the cusp. This is pleasure card action on the 1 year. I figured out how to make my mouse show up on the screen too. It's pretty dope. On the 1 year, where to go? Right, we've got pleasure card in the end of April, erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, revisiting a crest in the midst of that erratic behavior. And then in early May, there's this sharp drop off of a peak or crest. So I'm looking at the 1 year, it looks like we haven't seen that sharp drop yet. That's what's taking place now. And then we have a move from the bottom of a range to the top of a range. Oh, I didn't notice the chain there. That's interesting. Hmm. And so the high in May is the disappointment card, which is very similar energy to they have a relationship. The disappointment card and the pleasure card, they have a relationship to each other. So my sense is that the high in May, we move from the bottom of the range all the way back to the top of a range. But this drop here is notable here in early May around this eclipse. Yeah, so it looks to me like that was the disappointment energy. So this move here, which means that we're still in a really strong downward energy, because to have the gain card and the adjustment card like back to back at the end of the day, and they are before the disappointment card too, but to have them back to back at the end of the day and only have this kind of a move, this little bit of a move, suggests that the downward trend is still very strong. We should see a sharp drop overnight. Anything else you want me to take a look at, guys? Any other questions you might need answered? Yeah, and in these last 10 minutes, we should probably see a move to the upside that'll stand out on this day's chart. It won't be huge, but there should be a move to the upside, and that would be opportunity to open up short position, because we're still so close to that peak at which was indicated a short position opportunity. And hopefully people were following along yesterday, and some people made some pretty decent money here today, or if they're holding on tight for tomorrow even. Really? Now, if we don't see this move at the end of the day, that would really be an indication of a very strong downtrend. Alright, guys, I think I'm going to roll early. Nobody's got any questions. I'm really hungry, so I'm going to go get some food. Alright, my friends, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow that rule of karma. I know some people must be making money following this guidance because we had that big drop. Make sure to follow that rule of karma. You do so here at the resources tab of Tarot for Traders. Where we ask that you send 5% of the profits forward to one of these charities, 5% of the profits back to the channel here at Cash App or PayPal. We're going to add the Wise app as well for people who are international and want to do the 5% forward, 5% back. And make sure that 90% you got left over, you spend that out of love. As long as you do that, the universe is going to send it back to you tenfold from all directions, my friend.